or should I say the NeoGamr Podcast for today, Tuesday, April 10th. I'm John Callahan, and with me, as always, is Larry Cooney.
What's up, John? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
And as always, Tim is manning the streaming podcast technology. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good, guys. It's good to be NeoGamr.
Yes, and that's the first thing we're going to talk about today. We are here talking to you from our brand new NeoGamr, and that's spelled, just in case you haven't checked it out, NeoGamr. No, we weren't able to get the NeoGamr with an ER domain, so we had to go with that. But it still works pretty well. It's been just in case you guys were aware, this has been going on for a little while now. We've been working on this for the past few months to launch a separate site devoted specifically to gaming news. We're really happy that this is launched. I know a lot of the folks who write for the site for Neowin are very happy to be able to write gaming news as well as tech news. As a matter of fact, we've had a lot of contributions already from our Neowin writers, and we really appreciate them contributing. Also like to thank Stephen Parker, all of our bosses, for coming up with the launch of this website in the first place. Thanks also to Tim Kimbrell, who designed the site, and he did a fantastic job. Thanks to Dave Legg over in the UK. He did a great job with programming the site and putting this thing up, and making sure that our back end was able to handle both Neowin and NeoGamr News. And just so you are aware, this will be the site where we will have gaming news. It will no longer be shunted over to a short news section at Neowin. It'll be able to be seen for everybody, and we're really, really happy about that. And Larry's actually going to be contributing to the site in terms of content. He'll be posting up some articles and some other stuff that I know he's working on, aren't you, Larry?
This is true. One day it will come. No, yeah, I'm definitely going to write some editorial type stuff, tossing the idea around of maybe a comic or something along those lines. So stay on the lookout for that, and thanks for the plug, John.
Yeah, welcome to the news team.
Thank you.
Well,
welcome back, you should say.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
you were here before.
Yeah. What comes around goes around.
Yeah, excellent. So we're really happy, and we're actually pretty happy with the response from our readers so far. We've actually posted up our first exclusive interview with Trent Oster, who took the time to answer our questions about the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Actually got quite a few hits, so we did very well for our first original content, and there's more to come. And I can assure you, we're working on a lot of stuff. And of course, E3's coming up in less than 2 months from now. We're going to be going to Los Angeles, and we'll be covering E3 for NeoGamr, and so stand by for that. We hope to get a lot more new readers for our E3 coverage. And by the way, for the people who are listening to this podcast, guess what? We've got a contest giveaway we're going to talk about later on in our show. So please stay tuned for that. If you're at all interested, but we'll talk about that later. We actually got quite a bit to talk about today. Besides the launch of NeoGamr, where there's been quite a bit of news popping up. Just want to touch on a couple of things that actually was announced today. Capcom held their annual Captivate press event, and a couple of interesting bits of news came out from that event. One, which I know will please Larry a lot, is news about Resident Evil 6. This was announced back in January with a November 20th release date. Capcom did the very unusual and rare move of actually moving the release date up instead of delaying it. The game is now slated for release on October 2nd for the PS3 and Xbox 360 consoles. I mean, I'm pretty shocked. I'm shocked.
Yeah, that never happens.
Getting delayed months or even years behind, but the fact that we're getting this game more than a month ahead of schedule is almost unprecedented. And I couldn't be
serious.
What do you guys think about that news? Are you worried that they're trying to push this thing out too quickly, or do you think they'll be okay with it?
Isn't November, like that specific date that they were thinking about before, isn't that the time when like 10 games released at once, like it was last year? There's like so many games on the one day.
Yeah.
I think bringing it back to October gives them a bit of space, a bit of breathing room away from those other major titles. So yeah, good on them for being able to.
Yeah, October and November tend to be just punched up in terms of major games coming out one on top of the other. But yeah, November tends to be a very busy month, so that might have been the reasoning for it. But like I said, at least they're not delaying it; they're moving it up, and I just hope that won't affect the development time. I hope they won't cause the development team to make an inferior product by cutting it down maybe 5 or 6 weeks. So that's my only concern.
Yeah, that's a valid one, but I think they're already well into development as it is. So I'm as you pointed out, I'm very excited. So bring it on.
Yeah, it should be good.
Can't wait. And another little bit of Resident Evil 6 news. There's going to be a demo, and if you buy I'm trying to look up the name right now. The upcoming Capcom game called Dragon's Dogma. It's coming out in late May. You'll be able to get a token that will allow you to download a free demo of Resident Evil 6. I'm assuming this will be a demo that will be available before the general public will be able to get the demo. The Xbox 360 demo will come out for those people on July 3rd. PS3 owners kind of get screwed. They'll have to wait 2 more months until September 4th to get their demo. So if you really want to get your hands on early for Resident Evil 6, then obviously they're going to go make you get Dragon's Dogma first on May 22nd.
Yeah, that won't be happening for me.
Nope, neither for me. I'll wait till July 3rd.
All right.
Same.
The other big news from Capcom's Captivate event was Lost Planet 3, the announcement of the 3rd game in their sci-fi shooter series. They're doing a little bit different this time. Capcom actually internally developed the first 2 Lost Planet games. This 3rd game is actually being developed by a U.S. team, Spark Unlimited, and they're using Unreal Engine 3. It'll be coming out for the PS3, the Xbox 360, and the PC sometime in 2013, early 2013. I really enjoyed the first Lost Planet game a lot. I don't know if you guys played it, but I love the look of the game when it came out for the Xbox 360, and I love the gameplay mechanics. I'm kind of worried about the game coming out with Spark Unlimited as the developer because, quite frankly, they came out with 2 games that weren't very good in the past few years. One was called Legendary, which was kind of the premise was Pandora's box has been discovered and it's been opened, and all these mythological creatures are roaming around in modern-day New York City. And the other one was Turning Point: Fall of Liberty, which was an alternate history about if the Nazis had won World War II. Cool premises for both games, not very good games in execution, and so I'm kind of a little worried that Lost Planet 3 might not be as good as the first 2 games.
Yeah, I ignored the first 2 on the reviews, but just watching the trailer now, it looks kind of cool. So you never know. Maybe
but that's a pre-rendered trailer.
Yeah, obviously no gameplay there. But yeah.
I happened to be with John. I really, really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was like one of the sleeper hits at the time, actually. I thought a lot of people overlooked it when I thought it was a really good. I actually even really liked the multiplayer. I had a ton of fun. One of the members on Neowin, LOC, Loke, he used to be a writer on the news team. Me and him played the hell out of the multiplayer. So what's up, Todd?
Oh, really?
But yeah, no, I really liked the multiplayer too, and it was kind of clunky. There's no doubt about it, but it kind of and you playing the single player, like the gameplay mechanics themselves were kind of clunky, but I thought that's kind of what made it unique and kind of gave it its own feel. So,
Yep.
I remember checking out 2 and kind of getting the feeling of been there, done that. So I never finished it. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where what's 3 going to be like. And generally speaking, when the developer on a game winds up giving up the franchise to another developer, historically speaking, that's not very good odds. So I'm not really sure what to think about it. I'll check it out just because I do like the first one so much, and hopefully it is good and they kind of regain the what they had with the first one, because like I said, I kind of think they kind of lost it with the second one.
Yeah, at least they haven't given up.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They haven't given up. I think the franchise is very good. It's got a lot of potential. I just think that like I said, I have my worries about this particular development team because it may not be their fault. Maybe the games were rushed and were not able to get to their proper conclusion. Like I said, I like the premises of both games, but they just didn't really do anything for me when they finally came out. So hopefully Lost Planet 3 will be an exception. They'll have the time to get everything all set up and done.
Yep.
Some interesting news from Epic Games, actually. Quite a few bits of news from Epic Games that were announced in the past few days. One is that they're working on a PC exclusive title. That this is going, Epic hasn't really made a PC exclusive title since I think the original Unreal came out in 1998. Really, I think all the rest of their games have been ported over to consoles, but this will be the first game in quite a while that'll be made, especially for the PC platform. No details yet. I suspect we'll probably learn more about that game soon, but I welcome the fact that Epic is returning to the PC platform as its main platform for at least one of their games.
Oh, they released Jazz Jackrabbit. Just reading your article here, John, on NeoGamr. I can't believe never realized they released that game. I played that not so long ago. I really liked it.
Really?
So, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Huh. Well, there you go.
I love Jack's Jackrabbit. I thought that was one of their best early games. Obviously that was from the early shareware games, like they did, like id Software and Apogee did. But it was still a very entertaining game.
Oh yeah, I loved it. So, well, that's good news
personally, I'm hoping that it's a return to Unreal Tournament PC only version. That would make me an incredibly happy camper. I loved Unreal Tournament 2K4. Absolutely loved it. Me too. And then, they came out with, what was the one that was when they finally
Unreal Tournament 3.
Consoles? Yeah.
Unreal Tournament 3, yeah.
That just kind of hit the mark. I mean, missed the mark for whatever reason. It wasn't even that bad. It's just, I think because they tried to release it on the consoles, their focus kind of got out of the way or something, because it could have been a decent game, but it just seemed like they've really never followed up with it. And I remember being all excited. That's what actually made me buy a wireless keyboard, because I was like, oh, you could play it on the PS3 with a keyboard. I'm going to check that out because it will be on my TV and stuff, So I was all excited about doing that. And then it was just kind of meh. Like, I don't know. It was still Unreal, but it just didn't feel like the last one. So I would personally love it if they revisited that franchise and made it PC only. That would be awesome, but I'm not necessarily holding my breath there either.
Yeah, exactly. I hear. I think they've said. I think Tim Sweeney, who's the co-founder of Epic, has said they've kind of put the Unreal franchise to bed for a while, and I don't think they're going to try to revisit it anytime soon. But who knows? The folks at Epic are very talented folks. They certainly have had a huge success with the Gears of War franchise, and so we'll see what happens with that. Another little bit of Epic news that was revealed this week was that. Sorry, if you're hoping for a sequel to Bulletstorm, it's not going to happen. They did reveal that while they had thought about making a Bulletstorm 2, and in fact actually started early development on it, Epic Games and its co-developer, People Can Fly, decided to move on to another unnamed game project, which they say that will be available soon. I have to say, I loved Bulletstorm. I loved it when it came out last year. It was just so much fun. It was, and I loved the skill shot stuff. It was something unique and fun.
It was crazy. It was so unrealistic, but just so fun. Like it doesn't matter how fake it is. It was just awesome. Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Yeah. Yep. I wish the multiplayer had probably been a little more fleshed out. I wish there would have been more deathmatch style games with skill shot stuff. They didn't really do that. They kind of did the kind of the horde mode type of stuff, and also the co-op stuff. And I wish that we would have seen more straight up multiplayer. But it was still the single player was just a fun game to play, and it looked incredible. But People Can Fly made the original Painkiller way back in 2004, and that had some of the best art direction of any game ever made, in my opinion. And Bulletstorm, while not quite up to that same level, still had some incredible visuals. And I'm sorry that the game didn't quite sell as well as they had anticipated. But
I was really hoping it would. Just like you said.
It's so that's too bad. But like I said, if People Can Fly is working on a new project that's going to be announced soon, I'll definitely be interested in it because they did a really good job, really great job on that game, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of great games from them. So disappointing, but still hopeful we'll see successful. How many of you have played the Leisure Suit Larry games? Any of the, and by the Leisure Suit Larry games, I mean the old style adventure games, and not the new ones that have come out lately in the past few years.
Well, yeah, of course I did. My name is Larry, and I was into gaming, so I had to play them. Oh yeah, I had to. I mean, Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I tended to think that their games are they're funny in many ways. Some of the gameplay can lead to be desired, but let's face it, there's very little games that were very much like Leisure Suit Larry at that time. And now the folks, the original creator of Leisure Suit Larry, Al Lowe, is teaming up with a team comprised of old Sierra Online folks to revive the Leisure Suit Larry games. They've launched a Kickstarter page in which they're going to hopefully fund a remake, like a digital remake of the first Leisure Suit Larry game. They've got 21 days to go so far, and they've raised about close to half of their planned $500,000 goal. So it seems pretty good that they'll probably make that goal and maybe a little bit more. Again, this is just a case where Kickstarter is just tearing up the game community right now, where we're seeing all of these old franchises being revived through Kickstarter, and very successfully too. And again, it just shows that there's an audience for these kinds of games that big publishers simply are ignoring. And so thumbs up to these guys for kind of starting this huge, massive trend of getting these old style game franchises launched again.
Oh, it's coming out for Android as well. I'm just reading the Wikipedia article, and iOS, so it should be a nice multi-platform game there. I'll probably pick it up for mobile.
Yeah. PC, I think it's coming out for Mac.
Never played the series
iOS
before.
and Android.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this might be a good example of old games that should remain unmade. So we'll see.
Why do you say that?
It was. I think it I just don't think it's really going to be. I don't know if I want to say. I'm not thinking politically correct, but I think the humor is going to definitely prove to be dated. So if it is just a straight remake, while I think some people might get a kick out of it, and it's definitely more towards the juvenile type humor and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah.
I think it's kind of along the lines of like a Duke Nukem, like that the humor in that like had its place when it was released, but now like I actually read articles online when the new Duke Nukem was released that people actually were kind of offended by stuff, and while I didn't take it that seriously and I didn't see why people should be offended, it is kind of a different climate than it was just when Leisure Suit Larry was at least early 90s, if not a little earlier, so it was just kind of a different
1987.
time. Yeah, right. So, it's I just don't know how well it's going to translate to this day and age. And not only that, it's also, gameplay that, once again, I don't know what to call them, Generation Z gamers, they're not used to point-and-click adventure games. And I think it's just, while I think it's great, and, I think if anyone who was working in the games industry back then, I wish, to me, they should still be working. So that's fantastic from that angle. I just don't know if like a series like that is really going to stand the test of time, so to speak. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm dead wrong and it's a big success, but I definitely have my doubts.
I can understand that, and I agree with you up to a point in that the Leisure Suit Larry games, at least from the late 80s and early 90s, are definitely games of their time, and they may not translate to an audience. But at the same time, this game is probably going to be made for people for a fairly specific audience, and I think that audience will appreciate the humor that the original Games 5. Also, it's a little bit too early to say whether this is going to be a straight remake or whether they'll add new content, maybe update some of the jokes, upset some of the gameplay. So we'll see what happens with that. I think it's a little bit too early to write this game off just yet. I think there's certainly at least enough of an audience for a good Leisure Suit Larry game that it could do fairly well if it's done right. And I have to say,
wasn't there one released in the past 5 years? I thought they tried.
There have been 2 games that have been released in the past 5 years for consoles and PC, neither one of which had any involvement with Al Lowe, and that was probably the big problem. The developers of those games basically ignored Lowe's contributions and did it on their own, and they were both pretty huge sales failures and critical failures. So I would say if Al Lowe is returning to Leisure Suit Larry, it's already going to be a step above those last 2 games in the series. So
yeah, I'll agree there. Yep. Okay.
And anyway, so definitely looking forward to that. Some other news, Kickstarter news. Since we had our last podcast, the Shadowrun Kickstarter project has achieved its goal of generating enough funds to continue. Shadowrun is, of course, the cyberpunk RPG series that was created by Jordan. I'm starting to lose it here. No, it's basically the Shadowrun was an RPG series that was created a long time ago. It's been adapted into books, adapted into games. There was actually a pretty cool first-person shooter multiplayer game that, in my mind, probably didn't get the respect it deserved. That came out for the PC and the Xbox 360, and it actually included cross-platform multiplayer. But the project launched several days ago, and with 18 days to go, it has achieved almost double its original $400,000 goal, and it still has 18 days to go. So again, this is yet another game franchise that will return thanks to Kickstarter. And so we'll see. We'll see how these games go. We have Double Fines. We have Wasteland 2. We got Shadowrun. We got Leisure Suit Larry possibly. We've got this hardcore tactical shooter Takedown. We've got other Kickstarter projects in the works that are being either prepared or already underway. I mean, good grief. This has just been a huge boon to people.
Yeah, I haven't played anything from these developers, so I'm glad that people are getting things funded by Kickstarter. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes out of this. But again, never played anything, so we'll just have to wait and see.
I played Shadowrun, the latest one, the multiplayer one. The cross-platform one. I thought it was pretty fun, actually. So. Is that the one that they're looking to redo, John? Or are they not?
I think it's going to be. I think the Shadowrun is. I think this will be an all new game set in the Shadowrun universe. I don't think this is going to be a remake of any particular game. I think this will be an all new game, and it's going to be coming out for both PC and also for tablets. So that'll be good. And I think they're coming out with a level editor and everything. So that's all good. And so it's going to be pretty. It should be a pretty interesting game title. I'm hoping anyway. But it's not coming out for a while. I think it's coming out in like 2013. So we still have a ways to find out before it comes out. But like I said, 18 days to go for before that project runs out of its Kickstarter campaign. Oh, and by the way, I'll just say the Wasteland 2 campaign is also still going on. It's got 6 more days to go. It's raised $2.26 million. Its original goal was $900,000. Its original goal was $900,000. So
yeah, that's good. Good for them.
And they've said, I'm trying to go back here, and that they've said that they're going to, if they reach the $2.5 million goal, and it looks like they might, they'll bring in more team members to make the game bigger. And if they actually manage to reach the $3 million mark, they will release their own mod tools sometime after the original game is released. So, it's all good, looks like. And I'm actually got an interview, hopefully, with Brian Fargo of An Exile Entertainment that we're working on, and that will hopefully be posting up on NeoGamr in the very near future.
So check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out, please. And like I said, we've got some other interviews in the works, along with some other content. And some other news that's happened this week. Oh gosh, I'm going through all my notes now. I'm sorry, guys. I thought this was kind of interesting that it was announced today, and something that will impact a lot of people, I think, in the near future. I know how I feel about online passes for console games, but I want to know how you guys feel about how you feel about buying a used game and then the game publisher saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, you have to pay $10 or $15 in order to get all the extra content and features that the new gamers get."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm completely against it as well. Like, I think I might have mentioned in the past, I rent a lot of my games, so lately it's like I can't play the multiplayer on the games I rent because I need to spend $10 on an online pass, so I'm definitely against them as well.
Yeah, and
what about you, Tim?
Yeah, and because you're renting them, that you're not going to have them forever, so what's the point of buying the online pass? Then it's sort of like, you can't enjoy the whole game, and yeah, I don't like them either.
Well, interestingly, today it was revealed that GameStop actually settled a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit brought up against it, where it was accused of having deceptive and misleading practices in regards to these kind of online passes situations. Basically, a guy in California filed a lawsuit against GameStop saying that when he buys used games, GameStop didn't make them aware that maybe he would have to pay extra for these kinds of DLC or extra content. And so the settlement basically is that GameStop will have to put a warning sign for the next 2 years in its California stores and also on its online website that will say any used games purchased by GameStop may have extra charges as a consequence of these DLC online passes. And also, if you're in California and have bought a used game with these kinds of things, you may be getting some money back.
Oh, really?
Yep. You'll be getting GameStop customers in California that are a part of the GameStop's Power Up Rewards program will be able to get a $10 check and a $5 coupon if they purchased a used game with that kind of online pass content. The people who have bought those kind of games that are not members of that program will get a $5 check and a $10 coupon. So, good job. I think this guy did a good job in getting this out.
At least it makes people more aware.
Think?
Yeah,
definitely.
Makes people more aware, and that's the whole thing. You know, if more people realize maybe that this is happening and it's kind of dodgy, that, you know, something might happen down the future that will make people decide to change their minds and you know, just include all the content in the game from the start, which is, of course, the ideal way to go about it. So
that's the way it should be.
The way it should be, exactly.
I definitely feel the way it should be. This kind of online pass content is ridiculous, and it's just a money grab.
Any other industry?
It literally doesn't. And I think we mentioned this last time. You know, no other industry complains about used product more than the game industry. You don't hear about the movie industry complaining about used DVD sales or the music industry moaning and groaning about used CD sales as much as the game industry moans about used game sales.
Yeah. And once you've covered the cost of your developing, you can't really complain anymore. I mean, it's sort of like, yeah, we've covered all our bases here. We're making a profit. We'll just let it flow, you know?
Yep.
Oh, well.
And there are other ways to make money from a game. You can offer up DLC content after the game is released, and that can also encourage people to buy the full version. If the DLC content is good enough. So this business of making used gamers pay something extra besides the amount of money they paid for the used games is silly. And it also goes to show that that a lot of games are really overpriced. I mean, $60 for some of these games is ridiculous.
It's more expensive here, John.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
80 or 100 here usually. So
wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Exactly.
They
really need.
Yeah, it's not like our currency is that much, you know, undervalued. No, it's just more expensive, and it's even worse in Europe. So, yeah.
So really, the game publishers really need to give a little bit of a think towards their economic model, and maybe make their games cheaper on the outset, so that they wouldn't have as much need to have this. And I don't even really need it, but they don't have the incentive to have these kind of online passes.
Yeah.
And Larry, you say you get all your games from GameFly. I wonder if since this lawsuit has been successful in getting it selling from GameStop, I wonder if GameFly is next. You know?
Yeah, maybe I need to look into this.
I think you should.
Yeah, because they definitely put zero warning on it. You know, so yeah, I might be looking up. I might have my first class action lawsuit here, and now I'm inspired.
And this is not the only retailer that handles used games. Best Buy now handles used games. There have been other, Walmart has had a pilot program that handles used games, and of course, smaller game retailers have used games. So this will affect a lot of people. And I think that this could be the first sign of a little bit of domino effect, and maybe this will, like you said, Tim, it'll at least raise awareness, and hopefully at the end, maybe they'll just do away with this kind of thing. It'll just cost both retailers and publishers too much money to settle lawsuits against people like this guy. So we'll see what happens.
Like a perfect example of a game that I rented, because for the record, I do buy games too, but it's usually games that absolutely know I'm going to like, you know what I mean? And or I was
Sure.
really looking forward to it. But a perfect example was the new Twisted Metal. And I swore I'd read online that, you know, they said, oh, we're not going to do the online pass because Twisted Metal, its heart is in multiplayer, that's its roots. And so when I rented it, for whatever reason, I had this, you know, misconception that there wasn't an online pass. So the very first thing I went to do was check out the multiplayer because that's what Twisted Metal is to me. And I couldn't do it because you needed the stupid online pass. So, like, right there, that literally ruined my whole experience because just like Tim said, I wasn't going to spend $10 because I knew I wasn't keeping it. I just wanted to play it for like a couple weeks and send it back. So, yeah, good riddance. You know, I'm seriously going to look into this GameFly thing.
Yeah. I'll look forward to your lawsuit.
All right.
Same, it won't affect me.
Yeah, well, Tim. I mean, sure, you live in Australia, but they have game retailers too. I'm sure you could find a way to get that kind of situation going on, or somebody in Australia will be able to get that kind of situation started.
Yeah, you never know. You might find EB games with little stickers on the boxes, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
All right. Well, we've got some upcoming games that'll be coming out in the next week or two. I thought we would quickly kind of go over some upcoming game titles that we're looking forward to perhaps checking out. Larry, I think there was something you wanted to kind of mention.
Oh, yeah, well, I just wanted to mention the fact that, you know, we sometimes talk about what we're currently playing, and I happen to rent, I should say for the record, I rented it, I didn't buy it, but I rented the latest Ridge Racer, Unbounded, and I believe we talked about that last week or the week prior.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I'm really liking it. You know, I also read some reviews, and it's not getting the best of reviews, and I could definitely see why, because it without a doubt deviates from what Ridge Racer usually is. But what's the name of the company again, John? The
Bugbear.
Bugbear yeah. And they were the ones behind the Burnout, right? Some of the
That's
Burnout
right.
games.
That's
yeah, and
right.
you could without a doubt, you could without a doubt tell. Flat out, that's it.
Yeah.
And you could tell that you know they brought a lot of that into it with the whole destruction and stuff blowing up and all that, and I like it. It's fun, you know. The one weird thing is like the way the game, the progression in the game, the way it happens is a lot different than your usual arcade racer. Like I literally did the first race about 8 times and didn't get first place. I kept like placing like. Yeah, like the best I actually got was 3rd. Like I was racing and actually not even getting 3rd. And then like I saw one of the tips, you know, like in the loading screen, a lot of games do the tips. And one of the tips said, and maybe it came up because I kept not placing, but it said, if you're finding, you know, the earlier races difficult, they're meant to be that way. You need to revisit them when you unlock better cars. And I was like, oh, there you go. So as soon as I got 3rd place, I went to the next race, and sure enough, you start leveling up pretty quick and unlocking better cars, and then you get to go back, and then, oh, okay, now I could get first. And so that was a slightly different approach than your average arcade racer. Yeah, right? Like, it was really... leveling the car really made a difference, and so, you know, and just the whole destruction and all that, it's kind of fun. Drifting is still pretty hard, but they definitely changed the drift mechanic from Ridge Racer past ones. So that I know is going to definitely upset people of the series, you know, fans of the series, because Ridge Racer, I mean, at least myself, you automatically put drifting with Ridge Racer, you know, and the mechanic is definitely pretty different from the older Ridge Racer games, but overall I think it's a decent game, and it was one of those games like I actually forgot that I put it on my GameFly queue, and it just showed up in my mailbox, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll check it out, and I was really pleasantly surprised. And other than that, I just want to say I'm still playing Rayman Origins on the Vita, and it's really possibly one of my most favorite games I've ever played. I love the damn game.
Yeah, just on Rayman Origins, when I was doing the pre stuff for this podcast, I got like a gameplay video that I'm showing right now, and I had no idea what the game was about beforehand. Like, I've never played one of the games before. I'd never seen anything about it, and I've just got to say, it looks awesome. Like, how have I missed this game? Like, what happened? Why have I not played it yet? So I'm.
If you like platforming games, honestly, you don't get any better. Like, and I say that as someone that pretty much has played almost every major platformer, almost every independent platformer. I'm just a big platformer fan, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. You absolutely do yourself the favor, because now, like, I even think the 360 version and the PS3 version, they're like $30 now retail. Like, that's brand
pretty
new.
Good.
But wow.
Yeah, you cannot, like, the visuals are literally phenomenal. They're outstanding. And I could only... Literally, my biggest regret with playing it on the Vita is I now want to go play it on the PS3 or 360 just so I can see the visuals on my TV, because they're awesome. The sound is some of the best sound in a platforming game I've ever heard. It's just crazy. The way the characters talk, they talk in this, like, pig Latin. So, Ixwe, utile. And they do all these really, like, it's just funny. The whole game is funny, but it's really well done. They literally have their own music where, like, the characters are singing in pig Latin, but on the music, and it's, like, funny music. Like, the production values are literally as good as you could get on a video game, like, bar none. It's a brilliant game. I can't believe... I know it's gotten... I think when I checked on Metacritic, it was, like, a 80-something, 86 or something. Like, this game, I don't know how more people aren't talking about it, because I really think it's that good of a game. And if you're like me and you do appreciate platformers, you have to check it out, especially now that I said it's $30. Like, if you want it for one of the consoles. And I know they actually did just release it for PC finally as well. And I believe that version's $30 as well. So... just, I know it came out, like, actually, well, the Vita version came out with the launch of the Vita, but I think this version came out last November or even October, maybe.
Something around then. That's probably why I missed it, because, it was in that big month of releases, so I sort of might have just passed over it. But I love platformers. It's been ages since I've played one, so I'll definitely be adding this to my list of games to check out in the upcoming weeks if I can get myself a copy. So, yeah, thanks for the heads up, Larry, on that one.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll let you know right now, it's a challenging game too. It's not, you'll be going back if you're like a perfectionist and you like, basically you could 3-star levels, or but that's not how you do it. You collect these little things and all that, and different levels have different basically grades almost. So if you're one of those people like me where you like to make sure you did it as good as you possibly can, you'll be revisiting you could revisit levels like so many different times. That's why I'm still playing the game. I'm probably maybe a little over halfway through, and I've been playing it at least 15 hours.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a good game. I really, definitely get it if you guys haven't checked it out. And if you're a Vita owner, like, to me, it's the game. It's the must-play Vita game. So
excellent.
Well,
excellent.
I'll check that out at some point.
Excellent.
Cool.
Some upcoming games that we should mention the next couple of weeks. Next week, we'll see the Xbox 360 version of The Witcher 2 from CD Projekt Red. This is it's also coming out. There also this is the Xbox 360 version of the fantasy RPG for the PC that actually got quite a bit of good reviews. It's also a very adult game. I'll tell you that much right now. So you'll be able to pick up the Xbox 360 version, and the PC version will get a big patch that will have a lot of extra new content and graphics improvements and stuff like that were put into the Xbox 360 version. So both the PC and the Xbox 360 will be more or less on the same kind of level next week. And
April 17 for that one.
Yep. And the week after that is the game that I'm personally looking forward to playing quite a bit, Prototype 2 from Radical Entertainment and Activision. I loved the first game in the series, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to do some morphing of my hands and feet and destroying a lot of property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good because they're expanding outside of Manhattan in the game. just when I was reading about that. So that seems pretty cool. Larger game worlds could be much better. So that's a game that I'll be picking up for sure.
Yep,
Same
I'm definitely
here.
looking forward to that. And so be careful with that. And we're coming up to the end, so I think I better mention our giveaway. For the folks who are listening to this podcast, you'll have your first chance to enter this contest if you wish. But we'll post this up as a separate post later on today on NeoGamr. We've got 3 Steam codes to give away for Gettysburg Armored Warfare. This is a game that comes from Radioactive Software, which is actually most of the work of one person, believe it or not. It's a third-person shooter mixed with some real-time strategy, and it's published by Paradox Interactive, and it basically takes place in an alternate history where the U.S. The United States Civil War is still going on, and that means you have to guys battle with all these kind of steampunk kinds of vehicles and weapons and things like that. And it's got a pretty interesting little premise, and we've got 3 Steam codes to give away for this game. So if you want to go ahead and enter the contest right now, we'll run the contest from now until the end of the day on Sunday, April 15th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So you'll have until, again, that Sunday, April 15th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time to enter. We will again post up a post about this later on tonight, and so you'll be able to quickly enter the contest. But it's a nice little game. It's $10 on Steam, and so we'll have 3 codes to give away. And thank you to Paradox for sending us those Steam codes.
Yeah, it's always good to hear about new independent games, and I don't usually check them out, but it sounds cool, so maybe I will. Who knows?
Yep. All right. And anything else we want to mention before the podcast ends?
Well, I guess
go ahead, Tim.
I guess I'll quickly mention something that I've been working on. I've been working on a review for this really weird, what do they call it? Sony calls it this personal 3D viewer thing, and it's basically like these goggles that you put on your face, and you see like a 3D movie. It's like IMAX sort of in your head. It's probably the best way to explain it, but it's really, really strange, and I don't know. I've been playing games with it. I hope the pictures here will load in just one sec. See, here's me wearing it. If you're looking at the live stream, I mean, you look like an idiot wearing it, but I mean that's sort of what you look like when you're watching a movie. But I've got to say,
do they work?
Oh yeah, it works great, and the experience is amazing. The only thing is that it's uncomfortable to wear it. I mean, it's really awkward. I mean, you have to. It's sort of like you have to have it in the exact right position, otherwise you don't see the movie properly. And I mean, here's what it looks like, sort of in your goggles. You sort of see this full screen, amazingly crisp movie. It's really, really cool, like to play games on. I was playing Batman Arkham City last night in 3D on my Xbox 360. Yeah. I've got to say it was cool, but I can't see myself using it on a regular basis, especially with people around.
Yeah. Does it support? Does it make any game 3D or only games that support 3D?
Yeah, it'll play 2D games fine, but yeah, you have to have it supporting 3D. Where's the photo? Okay. It actually is tethered as well. It's not wireless or anything, so you need this little box that you plug it into.
Wow.
So there's a lot of cables
it looks like
and
a
stuff.
Mess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's also very expensive too. So yeah, I'll be posting that review up shortly on Neowin. So yeah, that was just my experience of the week, I guess.
Was it, like I said, what did you say was, how comfortable was it wearing that thing anyway?
Well, the thing is that it's heavy. Like, that's the problem. Even with all its components in its box thing, it's sort of drags your head downwards, sort of. So it's comfortable, like leaning back in a chair or lying in a bed, but otherwise it's sort of very awkward, and it sits on your your forehead and stuff. It's not the greatest thing for being comfortable, but it's cool. That's the main thing, I guess.
All right. I'm sure. I don't doubt the fact that 3D games look cool wearing that thing, because it's so immersive and you're just sucked into that kind of image. But at the same time, like you said, you look kind of silly wearing that thing for any length of time. And
Yeah.
so I've never been a big proponent of 3D gaming, at least with that kind of a setup. I would much rather have something akin to what the Nintendo 3DS does, and have some kind of 3D effect that doesn't need glasses. And it's probably going to be a while before that kind of thing comes to the big screen anytime soon. So,
Yeah, I don't. It's sort of like strange with 3D games. It's not like traditional 3D, like seeing it in real life. It's like awesome. It's an indescribable thing. The 3D games. I find it really difficult to explain it, but it doesn't look real. Like, I don't know. That's as good as I could get for saying it. It just doesn't look real.
No, I have a 3D capable TV, and so I've been checking out pretty much any 3D game that, not every single one, but a good decent amount of them. And, so far for me, it's been really hit or miss. Some games are, like you said, you almost can't describe it. You have to experience it. But other games are horrible. Like, there's no other way to put it. It's really been, to me, it's either really enhanced the experience or totally taken away from it. So, but like a game like, you said you played Arkham City. To me, that was fantastic in 3D. And it was, what it really, like that game, it was all about depth and perspective. That game really made the city, feel massive, because
You're right about that.
It was in 3D. So that was a perfect game that suited itself to 3D. But then, believe it or not, like the game I still think probably has the best 3D, at least on the PS3, is Super Stardust HD. And it's such a simple game when you play it, but once it's in 3D, like the glow, like you're traveling around the planet, and it feels like you're actually flying around the planet. Like it's insane how the 3D works so good sometimes, and then other times, like a really bad example of 3D is the latest Killzone, the last Killzone that they released. The engine could not output good enough frame rate to keep up with the 3D, so the frame rate was awful. They used like cheesy blurring effects to try to hide that, so it made it even worse. Like, it gave me a headache in like 3 minutes. So there's definitely, that's one thing I'm kind of looking forward with these next gen consoles, is none of the current gen consoles could output 1080p 3D. It's not possible unless it is a game like a Super Stardust, where it's super simple as far as the graphics. So one thing I am looking forward to is like true stereoscopic 1080p 3D, because then it's going to really make a difference. The visuals are going to be insane. Like, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch like an actual Blu-ray in 3D yet, but
yeah, I watched one on the glasses thing. It's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, they look phenomenal when it's done right, and it's when the resolution is actually 1080p, like it looks so much better. So that's one thing I'm kind of looking forward to. But I was able to get my 3D TV for the same price as a normal 3D. A coworker of mine, their husband actually works at Sony, so I was able to get the friends and family discount. Otherwise,
Cool.
Yeah, otherwise I probably wouldn't have gotten it, so, but I found a lot depends on the game, and, if it's not done right, it's really noticeable that it's really bad, but if it's done decent, it's pretty cool. I definitely feel like it enhances the experience when it's done right. Like, I felt like Batman flying through the city, and I'm sure you did too, Tim, you know, so.
I guess... So what's the way to describe it? It's sort of like there's layers. I guess that's what gets me, is that in real life, that you see everything, coming out and going into your vision naturally. But in 3D, TVs, it's sort of like there's layers of focus. Like
Absolutely.
The main thing's there, and you can't really focus on the stuff that's beyond, even though you can look at it and it seems like it's beyond. You try as hard as you can to focus, and it never happens. Maybe that's what gets me about it. But it's just, yeah. And also the thing, like in the games, is that the what is it called? The heads-up display is always before everything else. Like nothing ever comes out beyond. At least in the games I've tried, nothing comes out beyond that magical barrier of the heads-up display.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's always the cool 3D effect, is when this stuff flies out towards you. Like when I was in the cinema recently, I don't remember what I was seeing, but there was an ad for an LG 3D TV, and had like a fighter jet flying at your face, and it came way out, and it was cooler than the movie itself. Like that bit of 3D was the best 3D in the entire movie length thing. So once they start doing that a bit more, it'll be amazing. It'll be just sensational.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like I think developers just automatically put the HUD in the furthest layer, if you will, because that's where they think it makes sense. But if all it takes is one developer to say, "Hey, why don't we put it in the middle and have stuff happen in front of the HUD and stuff?" That right there, that's a great idea. So hopefully people start utilizing it some more.
Or do a dead space and put the HUD in the game, so then you can do it properly. Like, have it amazingly 3D, and now you have like the ammo counters on the gun and stuff. That'd be cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. It's funny you mention that, because I'm hoping the new Dead Space does support 3D, because I was thinking about how cool the HUD would be in it. So, yeah. Oh, check out Assassin's Creed if you can. That's all I'll say. To me, that was the best 3D yet. The latest Assassin's Creed. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Well, you made me want to try and get a 3D TV now. Crap. I don't have that nice. I don't have that nice little deal you have. Oh my gosh.
I'm still friends with the coworker, and they're pretty cool. So if you're ever interested, let me know. I had 0% interest for 3 years as well, believe it or not. I paid it off in a couple months, but yeah, 0% interest for 3 years on the deal that they had too. Yeah, it was crazy.
Nice. But I don't have a 3D TV either. I only have the goggles thing, but it definitely sort of makes me think that I need to upgrade a bit here.
Maybe I'll have to do the same too. Oh my god, I don't have enough money anymore. All right. Well, anyway, thanks. I think we'll try to wrap it up here. Unless you guys have any other things you want to mention.
Nope, I've said everything I think now.
Real quick, I checked out the Vita real quick, because today's the day where they update the store, and game Escape Plan, the DLC, the free DLC came out for Escape Plan.
Cool.
Bukaki's Lair, and there's actually a completely free game as well that they're giving away.
Really?
It's called something. Hold on, I'll tell you, Treasures of Montezuma Blitz. It's a Bejeweled 2 clone. That's exactly what it is. But it's free, so why not grab it for free, right? So
exactly.
There's nothing like a free Bejeweled 2 clone. Oh my gosh. All right, well, thanks again to all the folks who streamed this live. We really appreciate you guys coming over to NeoGamr.net and checking us out at our new website home. We appreciate all the people who are going to be listening to this afterwards via our recording, which we'll be posting up very soon. Don't forget, we'll be posting up our contest details for the Gettysburg Armored Division, Armored Warfare, I should say, game on NeoGamr later on tonight. And I guess that's all. Well, we actually had quite a bit of stuff to talk about tonight. So for John Callahan, and for Larry and for Tim, thanks again for listening and watching. And we appreciate all the comments that you guys give us. And please tell your friends about NeoGamr.net. We really would like to see this website take off and do very well. And we're putting a lot of effort into it, and we hope you appreciate it. And thanks again, and we'll talk to you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Yeah, see you then.
Bye-bye.